All right. We are now live. What's up, Emery? All right. We're on Instagram and YouTube. Sweet. Got some people joining in. All right. We'll give it a minute or so and let everyone kind of get online, and then we'll get going. We got a couple people on YouTube, a couple people on Instagram. So I'm excited. Matt's on YouTube. Got some people on Instagram. Hey, Emery, go ahead and give me the waves. What's up, guys? Good to see you. Haven't been able to meet for a while, so I miss you guys. We'll give it a good minute or two, and then we'll get into our group discussion here. Everyone else who's on YouTube, go ahead and comment so we can see who's on. Got some people waving on Instagram. So I guess to start off, the first question that I want us to answer is, like, what have you guys been doing these last couple weeks? What have you guys been doing to stay sane, to stay busy? What have you guys been up to? Because I know it's been crazy couple weeks. You guys have all been stuck inside, haven't been able to get out much. What have you guys been up to these last couple weeks? And I just and while you guys are answering, I just kind of want today to be just to be a time to reconnect and kind of just to kind of see what everyone's up to, just to hang out again, because we haven't been able to hang out for a little while. So I just want to chat and just have a time to get together. And so we have a couple of answers coming in. Addison Walker on YouTube said that she's here. Instagram. Let's see what we got going on. We have sleeping and playing Animal Crossing. Nothing else. Only sleeping and playing Animal Crossing. Okay. Yeah, that's solid. Amara says volleyball. She's playing a lot of volleyball. Do you like play with your family, or are you just playing by yourself, or what does that look like? And then we got working, playing games with kids, hanging out. All right. Sydney's playing basketball, volleyball. Now, are you guys like playing outside with just yourself, or friends, family? What's going on? And for other people who are just joining on, we're starting off with the question: what have you guys been doing recently to just like stay sane? What have you guys been up to? Emery, running and pickleball. Oh yeah, I love pickleball. Man, that's fun. I saw you guys kind of built a little home setup in your driveway. That's pretty cool. Nolan is playing basketball and riding bikes. Do you go to Freeman Lake to ride? I went there probably about a week or so ago. That was the first time I rode my bike there. That was a lot of fun. And then we got working, schoolwork, crafting, or something to keep me busy. Yep. Gotta find something to keep us busy. Matt on YouTube saying working and spending time with family. Yeah. Gabe says basketball and tennis. Okay. So lots of sports I see. We're doing lots of sports. Working, long walks, playing board games, drinking lots of coffee. Yeah, especially drinking lots of coffee. Addison on YouTube says playing basketball and soccer with her brother. Now, are you beating Keegan? I bet you could easily whoop up on him. Let's see what else we got. Nolan's is playing with his neighbor. Okay. Yeah. You guys doing any puzzles or anything like drawing or creative? Like what anything else? Has school been kind of taking up most of your guys' time? And for everyone joining on, we're kind of going through what have we been doing to stay busy over the last couple weeks? What's been our go-to activity to stay busy? I have been, for me, it's working, hanging out with family a little bit, and then I have been drawing. I haven't drawn in a while, but drawing is something that I loved to do when I was younger. I used to draw cars and animals and all that type of stuff, and so I love drawing, and I've been able to have some time to get back into that. So that's been something that I've been doing a little bit. Daniel West says schoolwork, keeping up with the job hunt. Lots of schoolwork for you guys, it looks like. Gabe says puzzles and cards. Ooh, cards. What's your go-to card game? Do you have like a specific game that you guys play? Danny says work and then walking in the nice weather. Thankfully, it's been pretty nice out. We've been lucky with the weather we've gotten. It could be a lot worse. And then school is awful. I can't ever focus long enough to get stuff done. Yeah, that's kind of the hard thing about doing work from home, is that you can't get. It's easy to get distracted. You can't really get in that work rhythm when you're working from home. It's kind of hard to do that. So I definitely get that. And then Gabe says spoons. Okay. It's been a long time since I've played that. Spoons is a good game. With my family, we played Rook recently. I don't know if you guys have ever played Rook before, but we played Rook. And what else do we play? Played a game called some version of marbles, and it had cards, and it was, I don't know, interesting game. And then doing schoolwork, going outside. Yeah, that's kind of the go-to. That's all you can really do right now. Thankfully, it has been nice weather to where we can go outside and we can, ride bikes or do whatever. That's been a lot of fun. My next question is, talking about what we've been doing recently. Has there been anything new that you guys have tried? Has there been anything maybe you've never done before, or maybe you haven't done it in a long time? Is there anything new that you've tried to do? Because we have a lot of extra time on our hands now, and we have a lot of free time to be able to do stuff. And so has there been anything new that you have tried to do? While you guys are answering that, my thing that I've been kind of picking up new hobbies, I guess. I have a skateboard that I got probably 4, 5, 6 years ago or something. And I've been skateboarding a lot recently, and I've been just riding around the street, just trying to do tricks and stuff like that. Skateboarding is something I've always kind of enjoyed watching. I've never really done, but I've been trying to pick up a new hobby, and so that's kind of been my new thing that I've really been trying recently. We got some people answering. Annie joined, and so for those of you guys who are still kind of joining in, what's something new that you've tried over the last couple weeks while we've been stuck inside, while we've been kind of contained? What's something new, a new hobby that you've done, a new thing that you enjoy doing? What is that for you guys? Gabe says food and games. So you said food. Have you been trying new types of food recently, or cooking, or what do you mean? What do you mean by that? And then games. What kind of games are you guys playing? So Amara said played a game called Clue. Yeah, I love that game. Clue is a fun game. So yeah, that's definitely a cool one. And then Tony says Clue is awesome. Yeah. Nora says we've tried puzzles and discovered that that's not our jam. We've been learning a lot of dances, TikToks, and that's been a fun daily challenge. Yeah, puzzles can be hard. You lose focus, you lose interest, especially when you can't find that piece. It can be so frustrating. It's definitely not for everyone. I don't love doing them. But yeah, and then I've seen the TikToks. I love the TikTok dances. Those have been great. let's see. And he says cooking and playing basketball with family. So what have you been cooking, Annie? And then Gabe says made hot dogs and played hearts. Okay, I see you. You doing your cooking the hot dogs. I've never played hearts though. I've heard of it, but I've never played it before. Annie says cookies. And then Emery said, been driving around parking lots. Not to brag, but I'm pretty good at parking. Hey, that's pretty good. I'm glad you can get in those white lines. it must be pretty tough right now. YouTube, Addison said, been working out, which I've not done in months. Yeah, what have you been doing to work out? Because I know we can't go to gyms right now, and we have to basically use home equipment. So what has been your workout stuff? Daniel says, been trying to get back into puzzles despite it not being a favorite activity in my house. Yeah, that's again, puzzles are not for everyone. I feel like you have to be pretty patient, and yeah, that's not really me. Let's see. That's illegal, Emery. Okay, Monica. Yeah. Monica's on. So Monica's been trying to get back into reading. Yeah, that's one thing I think a lot of people, it doesn't come natural for us to love to read, and I'm kind of on that same page as well. And so yeah, during this time you can find maybe a new book, something that you enjoy. I've been reading a book right now, and I'm going to start the Chronicles of Narnia here soon. But reading is something that's very beneficial and is awesome. But reading's definitely not everyone's thing. I'm on that same page. So yeah, what's up, Austin? Austin joined. Yeah, so I think this is a cool opportunity. You know, we're in this time of being quarantined, being stuck inside, and it allows us to have some extra time to do new and unique things. It allows us to try out new hobbies, to do something new, and I think it's just a really cool opportunity to use the creative genes that God has given us, and whatever that may be, whether it's doing a puzzle or whether it's cooking or whether it's reading, whatever it may be. I think this is a unique opportunity that we have lots of time on our hands, and you don't always want to be doing schoolwork or watching Netflix and playing video games, but you want to be doing new things. And I think this is just something cool that we have the opportunity to try new things and be creative. And so, yeah, I encourage you guys, be creative, do something new that you may have never done before, cook something that you've never cooked before, play games that you may have never played before, board games or do puzzles, do something new and creative. Yeah, the Chronicles of Narnia, I've never read it, but I want to. I've heard it's amazing, and I love the movies. And so, yeah, I love C.S. Lewis, so I'm going to check that out. Amara, I played Monopoly like 10 times. Wow. You're probably pretty good at Monopoly by now then. So yeah, a lot of board games, it looks like. That's good. Yeah. Board games are great, and it's a fun thing to do with your family. Right now would be an awesome time to do a lot of stuff with your family. Do board games, cook together, watch movies together, spend this time with our family. It's an awesome opportunity for that. Addison on YouTube says she uses water jugs to do like biceps and triceps and shoulders. The water jugs make it harder since there is water in them. I also do cardio, which I do sprints and basketball. Okay, so I can just imagine you like when your mom or whoever brings in the groceries, you're just like pumping the water jugs and the milk jugs. I love it. Let's see. Got anything else on here? We've been doing a lot of these themed dinners. Okay, so what are those themed dinners that you've been doing? Like like Mexican, Italian? Like what is that? That sounds pretty cool. I'd say my favorite type of food is it's probably Mexican. I love tacos. I don't know if Taco Bell counts, but I love Mexican food. But yeah, that's a really cool idea. Emery's our theme is whatever's in the fridge. I love that air fryer you guys have or whatever it's called. You can cook like anything in there. Those things are amazing. So we'll go into the next question now. The next question I have for this morning is, we're leading up to Easter. We have about 2 weeks left, or I guess actually no, 1 week left. Next week is Easter. Sorry, next week is Easter, and we're talking about our lesson for this week was about Easter and was about how Jesus, the story of Jesus, the death and resurrection of Jesus, should cause us to want to go share, want to go tell. And we talked about how it can be shared through one act of love. We don't always have to, verbally just, be kind of a street preacher and say it on the streets, but we can show people, we can tell people about Jesus through our acts of love. And so we're talking about Easter. And my question is, what are your guys' Easter traditions? What are the things that you guys do for Easter? And so I don't know what that is, but go ahead and answer. What are the things you guys do for Easter? Is it an Easter egg hunt? Is it going to your grandma's house? Is it watching a certain movie? What are your guys' Easter traditions? For me and my family, growing up, when I was in school, we would go to my grandma's house, my mom's mom, and we would go to her church a lot of times, and we would have this big Easter dinner with my whole mom's side of the family. And so we'd all get together and we'd have noodles and mashed potatoes and corn and just a huge meal, and then we just hang out for the day. And it was simply that. And we also had a family Easter egg hunt. But I don't know what it is for you guys. But what are your Easter traditions? So Annie says we go to mom's side of the family and do hangouts with the cousins and have Easter egg hunts. So yeah, that's kind of what I did as well. Hung out with my cousins, went to my mom's family's house, and we had Easter egg hunts. And it was, the yard wasn't very big. The Easter eggs you could just see where all of them were. It wasn't very hard to find them, but there was just something about doing that Easter egg hunt, that activity with our family. Just doing it as a family was a lot of fun. And then we have Easter egg hunts, and we dye Easter eggs. Man, dyeing Easter eggs is a lot of fun. I remember doing that as well, and it's something that's it's so messy. By the end, your fingers are they're staining that color for the day, so your fingers are blue and green and whatever. But that's definitely a lot of fun. I like that. Then we have eating breakfast at my grandparents' church. Yeah, that's cool. And Nora says our entire family usually meets up at my brother's house in Indiana. We have a huge dinner, play games outside, make a bonfire, and just hang out all day. I love bonfires. Bonfires are so much fun. And I can't wait for that kind of bonfire season to come around and just to be able to hang out. But hey, yeah, at least you can do Zoom. It stinks that we can't meet in person, but you guys can still see each other virtually through Zoom, so that's neat. Gabe says we go to Dad's side and we do Easter egg hunts and eat lots of food. Emphasis on eat lots of food. Definitely. I love just being able to smash on some food. It's a great time. Sydney says my household goes to Indiana because that's where the rest of my family is, and we just spend the day up there, but that's obviously not going to happen this year. Yeah, I hate that. it stinks not being able to travel and not being able to go see family and friends, and that really does stink. But this isn't going to be forever, and we'll get through this together. But I definitely feel with you guys that can't kind of go see family, grandparents especially. I know that's really hard as well. And then Danny says, we used to see a play of Christ's resurrection. It was always so powerful. It's actually where it hit me as a kid that I truly believe. Oh, that's super cool. I've never seen like a play of it before. We would sometimes watch The Passion of the Christ around this time, and man, that's a tearjerker. That's a hard movie to watch. It does such a good job visually representing everything that really happened. And so yeah, things like that, when you can visually see it, it really makes an impact with you, and that's really cool. We have some on YouTube. Addison says, going to grandparents' house with brother and cousins, dyeing eggs, doing Easter egg hunts, and then trading off the candy we get. Yeah, going through a candy trade. That's good. And then Matt says, church, family, or lunch with family, and then egg hunt when kids were little. Yeah, even now, like when I go to my grandma's house, like the last couple of years, we'd still do Easter egg hunts when we're in our 20s and we're older. Like we still just love the idea of getting candy and getting like 2 quarters in the eggs. I love it. And then Amara says, this year we have my new little sis. Oh, that's awesome. That is really cool. That's super cool. Monica says, when I was a kid, we used to dye and decorate eggs. Yeah, that's awesome. I love getting to do that. And then with us this Easter, it's with us this Easter, so it's her first Easter. And then, oh, you got baptized last year this time. That's so cool. Man, so this is a really cool time of year for you then. That's really neat. I love it. And so moving on to our next question that we have, what is your favorite part of the Easter story? Thinking of this time, I'd say beginning with kind of the Last Supper, from the time from the time that Jesus ascended. What is your favorite part of the Easter story? Thinking about everything, all the events that happen, what is your favorite part? And I think for me, I'll go ahead and answer this. I'll give you guys a little bit of time. But thinking of your favorite part of the Easter story, I love the part where when Jesus had just died on the cross. It talks about how like bones were raised to life and tombs were emptied, and the curtain, the veil tore, and I just think that's such a cool story. Like I can't imagine in that time frame if just like people that were dead just raised to life for a certain time. Like I can't imagine that. But then also the veil being torn is one of my favorite parts of that story. And there's a couple different reasons, but really because the veil represented us being able to connect with God. And so back in that time, the high priest is really the only one that could go in to be with God and be in God's presence. And so the veil being torn was a representation that now everyone can be in God's presence. That God's presence is not just in one location, but it's everywhere. And so for me, my favorite part of the Easter story is because of what Jesus did, we have connection now with God. That's probably my favorite part of the Easter story. Then Emery says, when Jesus is in the garden with all the disciples, it was like one last time where everyone and everything was peaceful. Yeah, that is a super cool time. And it must have been pretty peaceful because they all fell asleep while Jesus was praying. I can't imagine that. And I can't imagine, seeing Jesus pray the way he prayed in that Garden of Gethsemane. it talks about how he was sweating drops of blood. Like that is insane. I can't think of what that would look like visually. But that's super cool time as well. And then Dana says when Jesus washed their feet. Yeah, I love that story of Jesus washing their feet and showing, this is how you're to serve others. Jesus, he didn't just tell us how to serve, but he showed us through washing the disciples' feet. And it was a moment where he lowered himself to do something that no one would really want to do. Feet were nasty back then, even more nasty than they are now. They were disgusting. And Jesus lowered himself to wash their feet. And it's such a humbling moment, and to think that our King, our Savior, does something as hard as washing someone else's feet. I think that's really cool as well. Daniel West says, where Jesus is on the cross and says, "Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do." And man, that's a good one too. There's so many good ones. That's a good one as well, because to think in the midst of all that's going on, all the persecution, all the hate that's getting yelled at him, all the pain that he's going through, he still has the heart to forgive the people of what they're doing to him. And we think of times when someone says something about us that maybe just so little, and it's so hard for us to forgive them. But Jesus is forgiving people who were literally spitting on him, punching him, saying wrong things about him, who were doing all these terrible things to him. And in his heart, he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." And that's just such a cool moment. I love that. Nora says, "I love the moment where Mary finds the empty tomb. I'm not sure she was scared, or I'm not sure she was scared and worried, but I think she had the hope that something miraculous had happened." Yeah, I can't imagine that either, of going to the tomb or going to a funeral home, and when you get to that funeral home, you're taking flowers or whatever it may be. When you get there, that the body is gone. Like your heart would almost sink, and you wouldn't know what to think and feel. And so I would like to have been there to see the reactions and to see everything that happened during that time. And that's just so cool. And how awesome is it for Mary and them to, like, they're the first ones to see the resurrected Jesus, to realize that Jesus is not dead, but he's alive. And they're the first ones that get to share that news, is really, really something special. So yeah, I love that. Is there anything else, anything that you guys can think of? Like, do you guys have maybe a favorite part of the Easter story? Something that you love, something that maybe sticks out to you, something that maybe you didn't understand when you're younger, but now you do, and now you love it. I don't know if you guys have anything. You guys can continue to put that in, and I'll read it. I'll read it if there are any. But the next question is, how can we show the love of Jesus during this time? So in the lesson, which I'm assuming you guys all have watched the lesson. If not, make sure you go back and watch it after this. You can find it on Instagram or YouTube. But the lesson, we talked about how realizing the resurrection of Jesus, realizing that event happened, it caused, Jesus tells us to go and share this good news with people, with not just a certain group of people, but with everyone. We're called to go and share, go and tell. And I believe that the way we do that is through loving others, through being being like Christ for others to see, through one act of love. And so I know it can be hard. We're all kind of stuck inside. We're all quarantined, but I know you guys are creative. So what do you think one way during this time we can love someone, we can show Christ to someone? And maybe that's through a text. Maybe that's through uh, maybe a card, or I don't know what do you think that is, but I want you guys to answer, what is one way that we can show Jesus's love? We can share the love of Jesus during this time. And then Monica answered. So while you guys are thinking that, I'm just going to read out this one. Monica answered that one of her favorite parts of the Easter story is the Last Supper. Jesus ate with all his disciples, even though he knew there was a traitor in the midst. Yeah, that is super cool. And again, that goes back to kind of what Daniel was talking about, like, how can you love people and how can you forgive them, knowing what they are doing to you or they're about to do to you, and knowing that Judas is about to betray Jesus, and he still invites him to dinner, and he still loves on him, and he doesn't treat him different. Like, I don't know. We didn't see Jesus, treating him any different in the Last Supper. Like, he knew that he was about to betray him, and he was, treating him harshly. Like, Jesus still loved him the same. And so what is one way in this time that we can share the love of Jesus with people? So continue to send in those answers. I know this can be kind of hard because it's not like we can go out to into the schools and do something for someone, or we can maybe go to a certain location because of this isolation, because of this quarantine. But what is, during this time, one way in which we can show Jesus' love to people who need it? For me, and I'll just go ahead and answer my answer, and maybe you guys can just think of some things as I say it. But one thing I was thinking is just talking to someone that you haven't talked to in a while. You guys all probably have friends that you may have not talked to in a year or two, that you guys may have been friends at one point, and then you kind of just did your own thing, and you guys don't talk anymore. But I think that going and texting that person, saying, "Hey, how are you doing? What's going on in your life?" I think when we show that we care for someone, and we are invested in when they know that we're thinking about them, that can do a lot for them. That can really have a huge impact on them, and show that you love and care for them. And so that's one thing I think, and I'm going to challenge myself to do, is text someone that I haven't talked to in a while, and just say, "Hey," and just say, "I'm thinking about you. What's been going on in your life?" And I think that's one way we can show the love of Jesus, by showing that we care for those people. So we're getting some in. Addison says, "Give a family member supplies that they might need." And yeah, that's exactly right. Jesus tells us to care for people, to provide the needs that they can't provide themselves. And so that can be our job, in which a way that we show the love of Christ to someone, because there are plenty of needs out there during this time. There are plenty of people who are in need of something, and that's a great way to show Jesus' love during this time. Daniel says, checking on friends and family every day and every other day, and asking them if they're doing okay, and or need someone to pray for them. And yeah, that's a great thing, to just check in with family and friends. Maybe the grandma or grandpa in which they have been isolated and they can't see anyone, and calling them or texting them and saying, "Hey, what are you up to? What have you been doing?" And letting them know that you're praying for them. That's something that's easy for us to do. It's not very hard, and it's a really effective and impacting way in which we can show love. We can show Jesus to people. On Instagram, let's see, we got some good ones. So Stella says, a friend of mine sent me a goodie bag in the mail. She included a little note telling about how much she missed me and how Jesus has got this. It was so sweet, and I'm so thankful to have her. And that's really cool. That is awesome. sending something to like a physical thing that someone can receive, that has such a big impact. It may be, if we send a text, it really does impact and have an effect on people. But when we send something physical, like a goodie bag, that can be really awesome and mean a lot to people. And so that's really cool. And that's something that we can do as well. That's really cool. Amara says, helping my parents clean. There you go. That's a way you can show the love of Jesus by helping out your parents. They do so much for us, and this can be a time. This can be a time in which we can do a lot for them, to thank them for all that they do for us as well. Nora says, our family has all joined Marco Polo, and we talk through the app nearly all day. It helps my mom a lot since we can't hang out with her. At first, I thought you were talking about the game Marco Polo. I didn't know there was an app, and so I was really confused there for a second. But yeah, that is really cool to talk to the people who may not get a lot of conversations daily. To just check in with them and see how they're doing is really cool. We can just be kind to one another and try to help those where we can. Just giving someone a smile and sending them a message, and that's really big. I think you hit the nail on the head. Giving someone a smile, that's something that doesn't take a lot of effort from us. It's something that's easy and that we can all do. And whenever you go out, whenever you go to the grocery store, whenever you see someone out and about, giving them a smile can change their day. You never know what a smile can do, and I really like that idea. Sammy says, I've started going back to the pen and paper method and mailing cards to family and friends. Yeah, that is so big. And again, going back to that physical thing, when we get something physical, get something in the mail from someone, it has a longer lasting impact than a text can have. And not to say that a text is bad. A text can be really good and really awesome for someone to receive. But that mailing a card and getting a card in the mail is just, there's something about it. I remember when I was in college and I got mails or cards in my mail, cards from family members or friends or whatever. When I got a card in the mail, I loved that. Like, I loved it more than any text, any call. It was just something that really stuck with me, and I keep all my cards to this day that I've gotten. And I love getting cards in the mail. Yeah, that's awesome. Tony says, my parents call the clinic every day and are scared. I try to show understanding and compassion to them, even when they are being rude. Kids can play games with their siblings, show them they love them. Yeah, and this is a way for us to show love to those who are scared, who are worried. Because there is a lot of uncertainty and unknown, and being someone who can bring peace and love in this time is huge as well. That's really cool. And then playing games with each other, playing games with your brother and sister, creating that family atmosphere is a way that we can love each other, that we can be the church. We can love like Christ by coming together as a family during this time. That's really neat as well. Checking in on friends and letting them know that you care about them. Ella, okay, yeah, checking in on your friends, letting them know that you care for them. Talking to some of your close friends who you don't get to see in person right now. Just saying, hey, what's up? What are you doing? What have you been doing to stay busy? Is there any way I can pray for you? Let me know if you need anything. Those when you get a message like that from someone, knowing that they're thinking about your needs and about how you care for them, that just can make their day. And that's an easy way for us to show the love of Christ. The impact that stuff has is huge. And then just spending time with family and talking about what Easter is about and showing that you appreciate each other. Yeah, that's huge too. Just talking as a family. That's something that we often don't do a whole lot. And a lot of times we're on our phones or we're doing something. Someone's watching Netflix, the other person's doing homework, one person's playing video games, one person's cooking. A lot of times we kind of we do social distancing without the social distancing. But this is a great time for us to come together and us to talk and to talk about what Easter means for us, what it's really about, and how much. I like how you said how we appreciate each other. Telling your parents, thank you for what you do for me. Telling your friends, hey, thanks for being such a good friend to me. Those things can mean a whole lot when you hear those. Emery said we've been giving our neighbors flowers. That's really cool too. Again, giving something physically that they can receive is a huge thing. Knowing that you're thinking about them, you're caring for them, that is really cool. I like that a lot. Hunter just joined. Hunter, quick question. We're on this question of how can you show the love of Jesus during this time? How can you during social distancing, how can you show people that you care for them, show people that you're thinking about them? Because, that's what we see Jesus, that's what Jesus did, is he did things to show that he cares about us and loves us. And that's what the cross is about. He went through this painful experience to show us the love he has for us. And kind of like Danny was talking about, one of her favorite parts of Easter is Jesus washing the disciples' feet. And that's something that he did for the disciples to show that he loves and cares about them. And so you guys have all had awesome responses in ways that we can love each other. Man, you guys went above and beyond, and you guys answered so well. There are so many ways in which we can love and show the love of Jesus during this time. Ways that aren't really honestly too hard. When you think about it, it's not too hard to text someone or to write a letter, to mail out a letter to someone. We can do a lot of things to show people that we care about them, to show people who Jesus is during this time. Easter started, the very first thing that Jesus commanded us to do was to go and share that Jesus is risen, and go and love people. And so that's one thing that's really important during this time. It's really key, because a lot of times during the social distancing, we start to become isolated. We start to, be by ourselves. We start to do things alone. We start to kind of lose a little connection with our neighbors, with our friends. And so it's really important in this time how we can show people that we still care about them, we still love them throughout the midst of what's going on. And so that's all the questions that we have for today. We've been talking now for about 42 minutes, 43 minutes. And so we've had a lot of awesome, great conversations today. So thanks guys for all hopping on here and having this awesome group time. I know it stinks. I would love to be with you guys physically right now, and to be able to have our group time in person, and to be able to play battle pong and basketball and gaga ball with you guys. I would love to be able to do that right now, but we're having to wait a little bit. But I'm thankful for Instagram and for YouTube and for these opportunities that we can still meet and we can still get together. I know this will be over soon enough, and so I can't wait to all get back together. But thanks again, guys, for all hopping on here and just having this this group time together. But I want to pray right now as we get ready to head off. Oh, my mom jumped on. Love you too, Mom. Nora says, I love you guys and I miss your faces. 678 girls. She's giving you guys her number right here to be able to talk with her, contact her. And this is just an important time. Stay contacted with each other. Stay connected and talk with each other. This is an awesome opportunity that we have technology to be able to stay connected. I love all you guys. I can't wait to get back to having our normal Sundays together. Let's pray real quick before we head off, and then we'll head off and make sure you guys hop on to watch the main service. We got the main service coming up here in about 15 minutes, and we'll all get to watch that together. All right, let's pray, guys. God, we thank you for your love. We thank you for all the ways in which you show your love through this time we're focusing on leading up to Easter, and how you wash the disciples' feet. You showed them what serving others really looks like. Through the Garden of Gethsemane, the way you prayed, the way Jesus talked with the Father, the way in which he went through the suffering leading up to the cross, and the way in which he suffered on the cross, and how he still loved his enemies even on the cross. He forgave those who were calling him names, who were spitting on him, who were crucifying. He still loved those people on the cross. And I thank you for what you went through for us, Jesus. Through your death, we now have connection with you in a way we never have before. I thank you for the resurrection, and that we serve a God who is living, not a God who's dead. I thank you for the power we have. We have your Spirit in us because of your resurrection, because of your sacrifice that you made for us, and we are now alive in you. And so I thank you for all that you've done for us in this time that we remember in which you died and rose again. I pray in this time that we can show love to others, that we can love those who are hard to love, and love those who have loved us so well, Lord. Everyone in between, help us to find ways in which we can stay connected with people, in which we can share the love of Jesus during this time. We thank you for all you do for us, God. It's in your perfect, precious Son's name we pray. Amen. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a great Sunday. Hop on to watch the main service here in a little bit, and I can't wait to see you guys again. All right, have a good week, guys. We'll talk to you later.